things might get dark here, chat. I don't really know much about it, bro. But this is by Nick Crowley. You know, Nick Crowley's videos are always a banger, but you know they always got that eerie vibe to it, chat. So, you know what I'm saying? This is I guarantee one of them, bro. So, you know, things are. Let's just see what he's gone about, bro. Let's see what we got going on. Alright, bro, we got Avil Loop, YouTube's Darkest Mystery, Nick Crowley. Alright, chat, here we go. 34 minutes, bro. Lock the fuck in, chat. Get your snacks and shit, bro. Cause it's just gonna be a heater, bro. Here we go. Yep. Here we go.
August 5th, 2011. A channel appears on YouTube serving as a promotional page for an up-and-coming company called Aviloop, a brand that boasted unbeatable deals in the world of aviation. That same day, 4 videos were uploaded, each showcasing young women dressed as flight attendants, detailing some of the many services that Aviloop provided. These would be the only videos ever uploaded to the channel, as from that moment on, the page was abandoned, giving Aviloop a lifespan of just 1 day.
Only a day?
The 1 day is all
very
it
discreet,
takes
bro.
to set in motion a mystery that remains unsolved to this very day. A mystery surrounding the company at the core of this channel and the services that it allegedly provided.
Bro, how do you figure
no
out
one being
shit
able
like
to
this, bro?
answer the seemingly simple question, what was Aviloop?
Nah,
And
his
the
team
more
must
you
go
search for
crazy, bro.
answers, the more deranged this trail becomes.
Oh, no way.
This is the story of Aviloop, YouTube's darkest mystery.
Nah, hold on, bro.
And there's no catch.
Nah, bro, it's gonna be crazy, bro. Look at this production, bro. Look at this editing. Top tier editing right here, bro. The video contains opinions and theories. Do not claim these as fact. Alright.
Welcome to Aviloop, your collective buying website for anything aviation.
Okay.
The formula for Aviloop's content was simple. A young woman stands in front of a static white background dressed in a flight attendant's outfit.
Okay.
They refer to themselves as deal attendants, and their job seems to be sharing information about this new brand, Aviloop.
Okay.
We offer deals on flight lessons, pilot accessories, fuel, FBO services, charter flights, and even small aircraft. You don't see that very often.
The brand marketed a number of unique
you could just tell that
aviation-related
shit looks
services,
sketchy, bro. You could just
making
tell.
them appear as a one-stop shop for anyone in the industry or just anyone interested in flying. Aviloop claimed to do it all, and at unbeatable prices too.
Our
Like
deals
what?
are usually 50 to 90% off.
Promoting deals of 50 to 90% off.
That's basically free, bro. What
It
the
hardly
hell?
seems like anything mysterious.
Too good to be true.
Just your standard subpar ad from the early 2010s. But the more you watch, the less clear it becomes what exactly Aviloop did. They left their business incredibly vague. There were no prices, no locations, and rather they just listed a bunch of flying buzzwords, offered at deals that seemed impossible. For example, they list fuel supply among their offerings, but how are they actually getting the fuel and providing it at 50 to 90% off?
Exactly, bro.
And where in the
Shit's not
country
fuel,
or
bro.
even the world are they offering it? It just doesn't seem realistic. What they're saying sounds fine on the surface, but the more you think about it, the less sense it really makes. It just seems too good to be true. Not to
Exactly.
mention how bizarre it is that this unknown company could come in and offer literally anything you could want that's flying related, with such exorbitant deals. Admittedly though, this is easy enough
they
to
would go
ignore
broke within
and play
like,
off
the
as an
first couple
ineffective
months, bro.
or even deceitful advertisement. But there was something else that was much harder to ignore about these commercials. With that being, the deal attendants themselves.
Yep.
Despite Aviloop claiming to be a professional aviation business, it's difficult not to notice how cheap these women's outfits appear.
Yeah, that should look like
They're clearly
that shit
costumes
look like a
rather
certain-
than real flight
like certain
attendant
ads, bro.
uniforms. And they're clearly
certain videos, bro. Not gonna say that
over-sexualized,
name,
too.
but yeah.
They're essentially dressed as fetishized versions of actual flight attendants,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is bizarre as one of the services that Aviloop claims to provide is staffing for flight crews, which would include actual flight attendants.
Oh, okay.
Yet, for whatever reason, they chose to dress these girls in seductive costumes. If
No,
they were
you're
trying
right,
to
you're right,
make
you're
these
right.
advertisements look professional, they were failing miserably.
Exactly.
And it wasn't only the outfits that had a strange sexual
Especially with that
undertone to
static
them.
background, bro. What
It
the
was
fuck?
also the script that the girls were reading.
Oh shit.
Whether you want
Okay.
to learn to fly, charter an airplane, or just see more girls like me, or to see more girls like me.
No. Yep.
Aviloop
Yep. Look at that.
can
Yep.
help.
Look at that. Look at
Aviloop
that.
can
Yep.
help.
Look at that.
So what are you waiting for, Captain? And remember Top Gun?
Sounds like certain ads,
Clearly,
bro.
your attractiveness increases with every flight under your belt.
Bizarrely, the videos themselves were filled with sexual innuendo.
Exactly.
Anyone who claims that humans were not meant to fly never experienced the thrill of their own successful landing. Get ready to fly big boy airplanes.
They were clearly trying to be more than a little flirty, which goes hand in hand with the outfits that they were donning.
I mean, sex sells.
Now,
chat.
some might argue that this
Sadly,
was a sign
sex
of the
sells, bro.
times. In 2011, edgy and over-sexualized marketing was still
sex
very much
still
in the
does
norm,
sell, bro.
with several major companies
I don't
building their
think
entire
they'll never
brands
not.
around the approach. But the only problem here is that the videos made it unclear what Aviloop was even supposed to be offering. Despite saying a lot, the lack of details made it entirely ineffective. Like the business itself was an afterthought, with the focus instead being on these women. In fact, even in the channel's description, they simply wrote, "Meet Aviloop deal attendants."
Bro,
This
I mean,
is
they
the
got a
official
site, bro.
page for a brand new company trying to promote its services. And that's all they had to say. That's how they marketed their entire company. Making some wonder, what was actually the role of these deal attendants? And what was actually the purpose of Aviloop?
No, don't tell me they're running some like underground scheme.
The
bro.
first and most likely theory at this point is that Aviloop was an overambitious company that used over-sexualized marketing
I mean,
to build
yeah,
intrigue
that probably
around
is-
its brand
that probably
at a
is what
time
it
when others
was.
were doing the same thing to
Yeah.
great success.
So I'm thinking too.
Maybe they weren't even off the ground yet and over-promising on services that they hoped to one day be able to provide. But for
Damn.
the time being, we're just throwing out there to get more people to visit their website.
Yeah, probably.
But with such a focus on these deal attendants, and just how strange these videos come across, some were left with a different theory. That rather than Aviloop using sex to sell their service,
They were selling
maybe
sex.
sex was their service.
Exactly. Yep. Kind of figured.
The theory goes that Aviloop was a front for pornography or
Yeah,
even
that's what I was
prostitution,
thinking, bro.
poorly hidden under the guise of this fake aeronautics company.
Exactly, bro.
This would explain the prominence of these deal attendants, as they themselves may have been the actresses or prostitutes. And it
Oh,
also
hell
explains
no,
the
bro.
lack of information about the company itself, as the reason their deals and services don't seem to make any
'Cause it's not
sense
legal.
was because they weren't actually offering them.
And also 'cause
It was
it's not
all
legal.
just a cover-up. And honestly, just going off the eye test, this is how the page comes across.
It does.
But there are other details that make this theory a lot more compelling.
Sadly, that
For
was the first thing
starters,
that came
in
to my
numerous
thought, bro,
videos, they
sadly.
mention an unusual feature of their website, that users can vote for their favorite deal attendant
What the
and win
fuck?
prizes as a result.
You can even vote for your favorite deal attendant and win special prizes.
With one of these special prizes later being revealed to be a one-on-one video call with one of these deal
Ah,
attendants.
yep, exactly. Yep.
This shows that the deal attendants weren't just for marketing. They were a core part of the services offered to
bro, they're
Aviloop
the stars or
users,
something, bro.
making one wonder what was actually happening on those video calls. And was it perhaps something sexual? And it goes even deeper than that, as there's a reason why I mentioned prostitution specifically in this theory, with that reason being a line mentioned in one of these videos.
What is
Purchase
it?
this deal, you must hold at least a private pilot license and a current medical certificate. Don't miss out and click on that big blue button. You know you want to.
The deal attendant
the fuck?
mentions that all customers needed to provide an up-to-date medical certificate.
Oh,
Now, this isn't
like
something that's necessarily
like
unheard
testing,
of in the
like
aviation
testing, bro,
world,
testing,
but it
bro.
certainly isn't the norm, at least from what I could tell. But in the context of this theory,
Like
it makes
testing,
perfect
yeah.
sense. If they truly were operating some sort of
They gotta be
prostitution
clean,
ring,
bro. They
then
gotta
their
be
customers
clean.
having an up-to-date medical certificate would be imperative to preventing the spread of STDs.
Exactly. Yep.
It's strange enough to make this theory feel legitimately possible, but even if it wasn't true, it seems obvious that there was something off with this
There was a
channel,
hint of it.
and
of
we
that,
haven't
at
even
least.
discussed the strangest part
Yeah,
of
if
it
that wasn't
all.
the case, then there was a hint of that.
In a few videos, you
implying
can
on
hear unusual sounds in the background.
No way.
And you want to add multi-engine to your pretty green license, this is your
Yo.
opportunity to do it at 50% off.
I heard moans and shit, bro.
Multi-engine to your pretty green license, this is your opportunity.
Oh my god. Yep. That's a moan, bro.
To your pretty green license. This
Oh yeah. So someone is getting. Someone's getting pounded, bro. Someone's getting pounded, bro. What the fuck?
In the background, you can hear what appears
Someone's
to be
getting pounded,
someone
bro.
moaning in
Someone's
a
having a
blatantly
great
sexual
time, bro.
manner,
This
What the
which was loud
fuck?
enough for even the deal attendant to take notice.
Like, she's trying to smile and
It's
shit or
very
something, bro. I
unusual,
would smile,
and
bro, I
certainly
ain't
not
gonna
a sound that could just accidentally happen on a typical
Exactly,
film
it doesn't
set.
happen.
Which makes it all the stranger that another inexplicable noise was heard in the background
lie. Oh,
of a
GG's.
different
Yep.
video.
Here we go.
And this one left viewers far more distressed.
No way.
You want to learn to fly, charter an airplane, or to see more girls like me? Aviloop can help.
I heard it
Or to
slightly
see
subtle.
more girls like me? Aviloop can
Yep.
help.
So do this
Or
sign.
to see more girls like me? Aviloop
Seems like a
can
dude.
help.
Seems like
Some
a
believe
dude.
that this is yet another sexual moan, while others swear they can hear a specific word.
I can't hear
The
none, bro.
word help.
Oh, I don't know, bro. Oh shit, I didn't think about
It's
that, bro.
incredibly concerning,
I don't
especially
know.
if this prostitution theory is true.
I
I mean,
don't
there's
know.
just so many implications to it.
Given the link between prostitution and human trafficking,
Yeah,
But
that's a
again,
very big
this could
problem,
all be
bro.
part of the marketing. Maybe
Very
this
big
was all
problem.
just a ploy to get people to visit their website, roping you in with these sexualized, creepy, and even
But where does the
concerning
website go
videos
to, bro?
that
What is
almost
the
demand
website?
that you dig deeper. Well, if this is the case, then surely visiting their
York?
website would help put this mystery to bed.
Exactly. I'm thinking, bro. Why are you not entering the website, bro?
At the time these videos were uploaded back in 2011, those visiting the Aviloop website would be met with a rather lackluster experience. The homepage was dull and uninviting,
That's
and
so
seemed about
shit.
as vague as the videos promoting
Yeah,
it.
that's like
However, they did have an about section
That's
that
literally
attempted
the
to describe the
fucking
service more in depth.
service right there and there, bro.
There, they mentioned that the primary goal of Aviloop was safety, as they believed that making training and other aeronautic services more accessible could in turn help prevent accidents, which strangely was never even hinted at in their videos, and is never mentioned again on any other portion of the website.
Alright.
But it was in this About tab that they listed even more services that they claimed to provide.
No, let me see.
Services like navigation equipment, headsets, and pilot vacations, among
The
many
hell is
other
that?
things.
What the fuck?
Basically anything even remotely related to flying, they sold it. Or
No
at least
way.
claimed to. And they insisted that they did so cheaper than anywhere else, by using collective bargaining, a process that they would go into greater detail about. Basically, Aviloop acts as a third party, partnering with aviation businesses to promote unique deals on their site. Each of
Okay.
these deals has a quota that must be hit for it to actually go through. So if enough people buy the deal, the quota is reached, and everyone gets a voucher to do or receive whatever they paid for. But
Okay.
if the deal doesn't reach its quota, then everyone is refunded and the deal is voided without any cost to the users or the business. Aviloop was the middleman, which could explain how they managed to offer such impressive deals and such
That makes
diverse
sense.
services. Though again, this is just what they were saying, begging the question, was anything actually being sold on aviloop.com?
Who knows, bro? Who fucking knows, bro?
Well, there actually was.
Oh,
The deals
snap.
were sorted by general locations, and most consisted of flying lessons, museum trips, or even temporary tattoos.
Now look at those deals,
However,
bro.
there was something unusual about these listings.
What?
Bizarrely, almost every deal on the site was marked as completed, each having ended in 1969, which
What the
obviously wasn't
fuck?
possible.
They're
There were
like-
only a select few deals throughout the entire website's history that were ever even active. And even then, there didn't seem to be a way to actually purchase them.
Nah.
This end date of 1969 was either some sort of glitch, or it was intentionally set that way, as the year just so happens to be yet another sexual innuendo.
What?
So what should prove the company's legitimacy actually only makes this
6ix9ine?
company seem more suspicious. It was like they were trying to make it appear as if they were selling all these different things, yet in reality they were hardly offering anything, and what they were offering wasn't even available for purchase. This set me on a hunt trying to find any sort of testimonials or reviews from any Aviloop customers, but strangely I couldn't
You're not gonna find
a single
nobody,
one.
bro.
In fact, the only proof that I could find that anyone actually used the service was an Aviloop patch that I found floating around on eBay.
What the
And the only reason that
fuck?
this is at all significant is that these badges were included in
How is
most
that
of
even
the offers on
possible?
the website. But this isn't substantial in any way, shape, or form, and it's clear that the seller wasn't actually a customer and was instead a patch collector that must have somehow obtained it.
Damn, how
Making
the
me
fuck do you just
question
find
if
something
anyone
like that?
actually ever bought something from this website, and if this whole marketplace was really just a ploy. Which takes us back to
Seems
that
like it, bro.
lingering
Yep,
theory.
it seems like it, bro.
Just like the Aviloop channel, the website featured these deal attendants.
Look at that, they're
and
right
just
there
like
too.
the channel, they seemed to be the primary focus. Their involvement was plastered all over the website,
Damn,
with the
what
whole
the
business
fuck?
model appearing to hinge on their involvement, which
Oh, they
the
could be
site
the
was not
mob,
afraid
actually.
to outwardly admit. What is the first thing you look for on our deal pages? We understand. Go ahead, check out our deal attendants. They sure are stunning. Vote for your favorite deal
Nah.
attendant for a chance to win a one-on-one VIP video chat with one of the
Nah,
girls.
that's crazy,
You will find
bro.
our models are not only beautiful, but also fun and interesting to talk to. Just have fun. Feel free to bask
Interesting,
in the
bro.
glory of your win, and be the envy of your friends. After all, not everyone gets to brag about video chatting with supermodels.
Oh, hell no, bro.
The process of voting for the best deal attendant was something that they heavily pushed, going as far as to reward one voter each week with the aforementioned private video call. And when discussing these calls, they not so subtly hinted that they weren't just ordinary video chats.
What do you
Rating,
mean?
you will be talking to real successful fashion models with exciting backgrounds. Many are big aviation fans, so you will have a lot to talk about. You never know.
Yo,
Vote,
bro.
Win, chat. you never know.
Oh, yup,
The
look at
allusion
that.
to sex was way more prevalent
Exactly,
on the sites than
bro.
even on
What
the
the
channel.
fuck?
With this line seeming to hint that winning these video calls could entail some sort of sexual encounter with the
Yeah,
deal
some
attendant,
sort of prize or
which only
something,
seems to
bro.
bolster this theory even more. But unlike the channel, here we're at least given a bit more context as to why these women or deal attendants are being used.
Yeah.
And according to the site, it wasn't as sinister as it seems.
What, just to like
Under the business
promo?
section, which is used as an FAQ for companies wanting to promote their deals on Aviloop, they wrote, "What is the deal with deal attendants? As a business, you have the option to include a professional video of one of our stunning models on your deal page for a flat fee. She will deliver a 30 to 60 second message describing your promotion. Our deal attendants are real professional models who work for high-end clients. Why should I
Okay.
include a deal attendant? Although our promotions get a lot of exposure, adding a deal attendant has the potential of making it viral on social media sites. Promotions that include a video tend to be extra successful."
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here. For starters, this explains how Aviloop makes their money. They're basically charging companies to run ads using these deal attendants,
That
and the
makes
videos on their
sense.
channel are examples of what these ads would look like.
Yeah,
Though calling them professional
okay.
is extremely generous,
Yeah, not
and I can't
professional at
imagine
all,
any
bro.
companies actually wanting to use the service. And given that these are the only videos that they shared, I don't think many, if any, actually did. But in this explanation, Aviloop is all but admitting to using these deal attendants to rope people into visiting their website, over-sexualizing them to lure in perverted internet users,
I mean, bro,
giving them
like,
false
that
hope
was
that
like-
they'd be able to interact with these women and maybe
was the
even
thing, bro.
sleep with them.
Oh,
And in
yeah, I don't
exchange, these users keep coming back to the site under this false hope, which maybe could lead to them
That's how
purchasing
they put
something.
you never know.
It's an insane business
have
model,
them 'cause
and
they
one that
spend,
really
bro.
doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, they're claiming that this is a service for professionals and real aviation fans, for the primary reason of making our skies safer, yet they aren't actually offering anything but the prospect of talking to women. These women are the main and really only draw of the service, and even the deals that they did list seem to contradict the primary goal of this company. I mean, how would a trip to the museum help with aviation safety?
I mean,
And how would a
learn, maybe? I
temporary
don't know.
tattoo help with that either?
Just want some tattoos.
And on the topic of these tattoos, they're also extremely sexual in nature. They were meant
Wait,
to
how?
mimic pilot stripes and be put on your shirtless shoulders.
No way they
with a
have
package
fucking meaning,
reading,
bro.
"When a uniform just won't do." And the description adding all sorts of innuendos.
And this is a good time to point out just how strange the writing is across the entire website. As here they write,
"What better way to thank a pilot than by saying, 'Captain, you deserve to have your epaulets tattooed. We wish someone had these on board of the Miracle on the Hudson flight.'
What
Just
the
imagine
fuck?
the look on the pilot's face if someone handed these to him. So why not keep a pair in your wallet and thank the Sully in your life for the next flight? Every safe landing deserves recognition, and this gift is sure to make their day."
Okay.
everything is written like this. It's not only sexual, it's also
Yeah,
nonsensical. And feels like
exactly,
it was
bro. It's
written
like-
by AI at a time when AI wasn't even a thing.
Everything
you know
about
what? Yeah.
Aviloop feels
Probably does.
wrong. The lack of any tangible goods and services,
Like, it seems like
the overly
all, like,
convoluted business
like porn
structure,
writing or
and the
something,
lack of
bro.
any public customers just makes this company appear so fake. But that doesn't inherently mean that they were actually involved in pornography or prostitution. I mean, despite all these innuendos, there is no
Too
direct
many, bro,
mention
way
of the
too
sale
many.
of sex anywhere on the website from what I
Unless
can
you
see.
got, like-
And unfortunately, much of the website is lost to time, as in
Unless, like, the
2016 the
hidden-
site would go down,
hidden,
replaced by
like,
another
letters or
random
something, bro.
URL, making it impossible to know what this platform was actually like for those who signed
Damn.
up for it. What were they actually being offered? What were they discussing amongst themselves?
Oh,
and what
shit.
happened on these video calls? It's all
Nobody will
unknown,
know, bro. Nobody
as what I've
knows.
shown is pretty much all I was able
You
to
gotta
salvage
track
from
down the
Wayback
deal,
Machine.
the deal attendants, bro.
However, Aviloop didn't stay down forever.
You gotta track them down.
In 2019, Aviloop.com re-emerged, only
No
this
way.
time it looked very different. Gone were the
Professional.
deals, the business model, and most
yeah, more
importantly, the
professional,
deal
look.
attendants.
Look at
And in
that.
its place was what looked to be a generic template website. They still
Well,
claimed to
more
offer some of
professional,
their
though.
services, but they were now left even more vague. And there was no attempt to even make it look like you could purchase anything. Even the innuendos were gone. It was quite literally
Damn.
as bare bones as it gets, and comes
So it was
across
pretty
like
shit
a
then.
sham website,
Yeah,
void
looked
of any
pretty shit.
notable information. With one exception. There was a single new addition to the site,
Who we
as
are.
at the very bottom you could find a short bio, not of a deal attendant, but of a
Oh
legitimate
my god,
pilot
that's her.
named Nadia Marinko,
That's literally her.
the creator of Aviloop.
That's gotta be her in the attendant, bro.
This revelation is huge, as Nadia Marenko was a well-known and extremely successful pilot, which
Oh,
makes
I don't know
Aviloop
that.
all the more confusing, as you would think that her involvement in the company would help legitimize it, and make it seem more likely that Aviloop was a real company after all. But instead, it actually did the exact opposite.
Hey, for
as
real?
her involvement plunges this mystery into a whole new depth.
Hey, why?
A depth far darker than we've yet to discuss.
No. What's the history? What's the lore, bro? What's the lore?
Born in Czechoslovakia in 1986, Nadia dedicated her younger years to modeling, landing multiple high-profile roles in her country. And by the age of just 15, these roles led to her being moved to the United States to help continue this budding career. But by 20, her interest had shifted to a different kind of runway. She became obsessed with flying and had a natural talent for it too, quickly rising through the ranks and gaining certifications faster than most others could at that age. By 25, she was considered extremely accomplished for someone so young, and her resume would soon reach a wider audience when she began leveraging social media. She posted videos under the alias Gulfstream Girl, and eventually Global Girl, where she marketed herself as a supermodel turned pilot, which worked to the tune of millions of views. Nadia Marenko was a star in the aviation world and on social media too, and it was during the height of this success that she started Aviloop. It clearly wasn't meant to be some big secret either. She actively promoted it on numerous occasions, doing interviews on podcasts and even taking it to a trade show. If this was a front for something nefarious, she was doing a bad job of keeping it discreet, which seems to back up our first theory. And it would be very easy to settle on that theory and just call it a day. Had being a model and a pilot been all that Nadia was known for.
She was trying to combine the two, I think it seems like then.
You see, there was something that she was hiding from her audience.
No.
A secret in the form of a bond with one man whom she was working closely with at the time that Aviloop was launched.
No.
A man by the name...
No, my God, the lore continues, bro. The lore, bro. Oh my God, it's Mr. Steen, bro. Oh hell no, bro. That man's everywhere, bro. We can't escape him, bro. The dude's everywhere. That man Jeffrey's everywhere, bro. You just can't escape him, bro. He was playing Fortnite. Bro. Now he's caught up in this. I don't know what this girl or what Nadia does, bro. I don't know what the lore is between her and Jeffrey, but we're gonna find out right now, bro. Like insane. You can't escape this dude, bro. This guy was dead ass everywhere, bro. Oh my God, of course, bro. Of course.
Of Jeffrey Epstein.
Nah, bro, that's actually crazy, bro.
Jeffrey Epstein has been arrested on
what's she up to now, bro? What's she up to now, bro?
Charges of soliciting and procuring minors for prostitution.
He was involved in trafficking young women and children over to Little St. James.
Actually disgusting, bro.
Jeffrey Epstein is the most prolific pedophile and human trafficker maybe of all time. He carried out a large-scale human trafficking operation, bringing children to his private island that he and other elites exploited in horrific ways.
Oh my God, that video is so fucking weird, bro. That's actually disgusting,
and over the past years, there's been so much talk surrounding the acquaintances of Epstein,
is so weird.
Who is connected with him, and how close were
Oh, Bizarre posted? No, I haven't watched it yet. I was going to. I didn't know when, though.
they? But of all these people in Epstein's circle, few, if any, were closer to him than Nadia Marenko. It's a difficult subject to discuss, but Nadia is considered one of Epstein's victims. He found her through her modeling job when she was just a teenager.
Wait, what?
Nadia Marenko. It's a difficult subject to discuss, but Nadia is considered one of Epstein's victims.
No,
he found her
crazy.
Through her modeling job when she was just a teenager.
And she didn't just come to the United States for work. Epstein himself brought her, after allegedly purchasing her from her father. What followed was Nadia becoming his self-described sex slave.
Yo!
It's a horrible
I know
and
that.
unimaginable
No way.
fate. But while Nadia appeared to have been a victim of Epstein, that wasn't all she was.
No way,
Because
what
after
was she?
becoming an adult, she also became Epstein's accomplice.
Oh my God. Is she in jail, bro? She gotta be in jail then, bro.
When Epstein was first investigated by the FBI back in the 2000s, many of his victims came forward and claimed that Nadia was not only present for their abuse, but she was a willing participant, there to satisfy Epstein's criminal sexual desires by, on occasion, directly participating in sexual abuse.
Oh my God, those flight attendants might be underage, bro. What the fuck?
Now, Epstein was eventually given a sweetheart deal for his crimes in 2008, which led to him serving just 13 months in prison.
Bro, that bitch-ass sweetheart deal, bro. That man was basically free, bro. that deal didn't do anything, bro. He was still allowed to go out. He literally, I think the only thing part of that deal was that he literally just had to come back at night. He literally just would go back to the jail at night or prison at night and sleep there, and then he was free again. Like,
and
what
as part
the
of
hell,
that deal,
bro?
Nadia was given complete immunity,
Like, what the
meaning
fuck?
she never faced any sort of repercussions for her use of children.
Damn, what the
But despite
fuck?
being a free woman by the time that Epstein was thrown in jail, she stood by his side, living in his New York City home, waiting for his release.
Crazy,
and while he was behind
crazy,
bars,
crazy.
Nadia would visit him roughly 70 times.
Shit.
These two were deeply connected, even well after she was his slave. With Nadia even making a scrapbook for Epstein. Which is just so terrifying that I had to at least mention it in this video.
This is not real, bro. This can't be real, bro. There's no way this is fucking real,
It would be
bro.
several years later in 2012, a time when Nadia had long since left Epstein's home and his control,
that Nadia would rejoin his operation, this time with a brand new role. She became one of Epstein's pilots, taking victims and perpetrators alike to and from the island.
On the plane they dubbed...
She did everything, bro.
Express.
She did everything.
What happened on the Lolita Express?
Everything that happened on the Lolita Express and his other planes was the same thing that happened in his bedrooms and the massage rooms.
Oh my god, look at that. Beds on the plane, bro.
Jeffrey couldn't take a 2-hour flight without having to ejaculate. Like, that's how sick this man was.
Oh, that's fucking disgusting, bro.
Nadia Marenko was directly trafficking children for Epstein, and she was doing this in 2012, mere months after she started Avi Loop.
Oh my god, that's what Avi Loop is.
Which brings us to our third and most upsetting theory.
Oh my god, yep.
That Avi Loop wasn't a cover for prostitution, but rather a front for child trafficking.
That's exactly what it was, bro. That's exactly what it was.
Nadia's involvement alone and the timing of the company's launch, mixed with all the innuendos, the red flags, it all starts to make sense.
Nah, because that
and it's made even more
site
disturbing when you
like
look at the videos they posted on YouTube.
Serious.
As one thing I failed to mention so far is just how young these deal attendants look.
No way.
There's obviously no way to conclusively determine their age from the footage, but some believe that they look to be teenagers and maybe even underage.
That makes sense.
Which would make sense for this theory, as the deal attendants wouldn't be prostitutes, but rather child victims.
Oh my god.
It's a theory that has to be considered. I mean, as crazy as it seems, Avi Loop was quite literally founded and run by a child trafficker who was actively trafficking children when the company started.
And Nadia wasn't the only sketchy character involved in the site behind the scenes.
Who else?
Epstein himself was as well.
What?
The two frequently emailed each other, and in multiple instances, Avi Loop was discussed, with Epstein frequently giving her advice. In one email, he wrote to her, "Website is cool, mix of porn, Groupon, and flying. The marketing campaign could be, buy with us, we give a flying fuck."
Wait, what?
He's mentioning
what did it say?
In one email, he wrote to her, "Website is cool, mix of porn, Groupon, and flying. The marketing campaign could be, buy with us, we give a flying fuck."
Crazy, bro.
His mentioning of porn here is just more confirmation that Avi Loop wasn't just an aviation company. But this also shows that Epstein was helping with the company, and he wasn't just doing this through friendly advice. Throughout his emails, you can also find dozens of receipts from transactions with Avi Loop, totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars of payments sent directly to the company.
Bro.
Jeffrey Epstein was an investor in Avi Loop, and a big one too. And he seemed to believe in the service so much that he even appeared to use it himself, as emails show him inquiring about booking flights through the company.
What the hell? Yo, J.E.'s wondering what plane charter service Avi Loop uses. He wants to charter a plane for tonight, wheels up at 8 p.m. Oh, hell no.
Nadia at one point even offered to help Epstein through Avi Loop, writing, "Is there anything I can do for you? I can find a deal through Avi Loop on anything you want. Airplanes, helicopters, cheapest charters, discounted fuel, or a new model / assistant."
Yo.
She's literally offering Jeffrey Epstein a model through Avi Loop, which more than hints at this theory being possible. I mean, she spells it out. And if they were in fact trafficking children through the service, this could give us a blueprint to how they were able to get their victims. Maybe they were finding models and having them fly out under the assumption that modeling is all they would be doing.
That's crazy,
Maybe these videos were even their tryouts for their roles, which they did
oh my God,
without even realizing
so weird
what
now
was
when
to
you think
come.
about it, bro.
I mean, these women were referred to as models on the Avi Loop website,
That shit
And
looks
remember,
like straight
modeling
up like
is exactly how
porn
Epstein
ads or
found
something,
Nadia.
bro. The background and everything.
And it's also how he found so many other
costumes.
victims, as he was known to use the modeling industry as a means of recruiting young and underage women, offering them high-paying jobs and potentially career-making opportunities in order to lure them in. So maybe this was all part of the operation.
Bro, so
or
what is
maybe
she
Nadia
even
was
doing
simply
nowadays
taking a
then, bro?
page from his book and using the same style of entrapment that he used on her. It's so disturbing to even consider. And there's one more email that I believe is the most disturbing of all, that could allude to their alleged trafficking. An email with the subject line, Old Terry Coconuts. I ordered sweet young coconuts from Thailand for you, and they just arrived. Very yummy. I was going to ship them to you in Paris, but I hear you are coming back, so I will send them to 71st with Sarah, just so you don't have to drink juices from Old Terry things.
That sounds weird.
Epstein was notorious for using code words in his messages.
That's
and it's not hard to see what Nadia may have meant by sweet young coconuts. So was it a joke or was it a coded message? It's hard to say. But this email was sent on November 13th, 2011, just 2 months after the launch of Aviloop.
Oh fuck, hold on, cancel. Did I do something to you today?
Welcome to Aviloop, your collective find website for anything aviation.
So what was Aviloop? Well, to this day, we still don't have a true answer, but everyone has their theories, and most of them are not good. Many legitimately believe that Aviloop was a front for child trafficking, and I can see why. Bro. The connections and the strange material on the website and the channel make this impossible to write off as just some crazy conspiracy theory.
I mean, if Jeffrey was asking to like actually borrow planes and stuff, so I think maybe there was a little bit of what they were actually trying to promote, because I think she actually did like flying and stuff, so she did probably want to promote that.
And if this theory were to be believed, it makes the Aviloop YouTube channel that much more disturbing, as these videos would be advertisements for a human trafficking service that potentially included the victims.
My fault, bro.
No,
it's that I was checking out some on like.
It's also possible that this was a hub for prostitution. And while sex work doesn't always mean human trafficking, just given the players involved,
don't worry about it,
that would definitely still be a concern.
I was just looking at something.
There's also still the possibility that Aviloop was secretly a porn website, like Epstein seemed to suggest in his email, with this content perhaps occurring on those one-on-one video calls. And there was one email that I found that was sent from Epstein's assistant, Story Cowles, that makes this feel even more believable, as Epstein asks him what he was up to which Story responds, "Just playing online at Aviloop. Pouring rain.
The hell?
Love it. The way these people communicate is just so weird
so
and hard to decipher,
bro. Look at
but
that.
Playing online at Aviloop certainly seems to suggest that this wasn't just a typical daily deals website. And if porn really was the draw, I think given the secrecy of it and the people connected, I would still be very concerned about where they were getting these actresses, and if they were even of age.
Who knows?
Nadia's legal team has pushed back on these theories, claiming she was merely Epstein's victim and nothing more. And someone who allegedly worked at Aviloop claimed that the ad campaign was merely meant to be provocative.
Hell no, bro. Those emails say none, bro.
This just feels so hard to believe.
Those emails say
and regardless of which, if any
bro.
of these theories are true, it seems so obvious to me that Aviloop was never meant to just be a normal company. I even question if perhaps Nadia had created Aviloop as a fake website, which Epstein could then funnel money into in order to make it look like Nadia was earning legitimate income. Something that she needed to prove in order to get her US visa, which her emails to Epstein show she was clearly struggling with. And she seemed to allude to this at least being part of her reasoning for creating Aviloop in the first place, and part of the reason why she was asking Epstein for money. And ultimately, the only way she ended up getting that visa was through a deal that she made with the FBI that involved her informing them on Epstein's crimes.
Nah.
Her work directly helped lead to his 2019 arrest, and his ultimate death inside his jail cell that same year. And it was around the same time that Aviloop went back online with its fresh, scrubbed look, void of anything even close to being sexual. And since then, it's never been updated again.
Generic.
And there's hardly been any updates from Nadia herself either. She made a brief appearance in a 2019 YouTube video where she pulled a prank on a flying instructor, acting as an inexperienced student only to surprise the instructor with how skilled she was, with Nadia going as far as to dress as a child.
Yeah, what the hell is she doing,
But
bro?
since then, her trail goes pretty much cold, and once the Epstein files started releasing around 2024, she disappeared from the public eye. Bizarrely, from that point on, the only trace of her seems to have come from images and videos from a monastery, which she seems to have joined. Okay. Nadia Mariko's work with the FBI and the immunity that she was given all those years ago makes it feel unlikely that she'll ever be prosecuted or even investigated for whatever this whole operation was.
She's definitely not getting
The reality, though, is that we don't know the full truth about Aviloop, and it's involved in one of the most twisted and deep rabbit holes in human history. A rabbit hole filled with so many layers and cover-ups and corruption that I just hope that somewhere within all of it, we can eventually find an answer to the question, what was Aviloop? But until then, it will remain one of the darkest mysteries, not only on YouTube, but across the entire internet.
The thing is, bro, Nadia probably was a victim, bro, but like surely when you got older, like you surely knew what the hell he was doing.
Hey guys, I actually have a super last minute update here.
Oh wait, hold on.
I completely finished this video, but there was something that was still bothering me.
What?
The question of who were these deal attendants? I initially tried looking for information that could give us an ID, but everything was just wild speculation. But I decided to give it one last look, and I'm glad that I did because I actually think I identified 2 of them.
No way.
I found an article that reported one of them as being a woman named Shannon Cusack, which explained that Shannon was actually a friend and maybe even roommate of Nadia at the time that she was starting up Aviloop, and at the time of filming this ad, she was actually in her mid-20s.
Okay, so
it seems like she might have just been helping Nadia out at the time with this. She even listed the job on her LinkedIn supposedly, though it's now since been removed.
Why would you have that?
The other deal attendant that I might have found was Ashley, and it was actually thanks to a YouTube comment. And what's interesting about her was that she was a model, but she was also in her mid-20s around the time of filming this. And based on her blog, she continued to have a normal modeling career and seemingly normal life after her time working with Aviloop, before she sadly passed away from cancer. And from what I've seen, there isn't much to hint that she was ever a victim of anything Epstein related. This is huge because a lot of people were falsely claiming that this girl was Ashley Martinez, a missing girl whose family is still searching for her to this day, but this doesn't appear to be the case. The only deal attendant that I wasn't able to ID was Claire, who does happen to look the youngest, but knowing now that these other women were of age, I feel more inclined to believe that maybe the women shown on the channel weren't actually victims of the operation, or at the very least they weren't children. But obviously I can't say this for certain, and that's not to say that that wasn't happening behind the scenes, of course. This just adds another layer to this mystery.
No, yeah, because there was moans in the back, bro, so yeah, that shit was weird. Alright, bro, Nick Crowley vid, bro. That shit was fire, bro. That shit was a banger, bro.